how is it going with Google Analytics 4?
So GA4 still doesn't solve this problem, basically.
They trying to cut the cost and make the tool not absolutely free. Accuracy is pretty good in the very general cases.
We might be able to look at other alternatives for e-commerce. Today, we're going to discuss everything about migration to GA4, Google Analytics 4, and we have a special guest, Konstantin, who is a paid ads consultant, and he's gonna help us go through all of the complications or benefits of this migration and everything you should know as an advertiser or media buyer about what's going to happen in 2023 when Universal GA is over. Konstantin, could you please tell a little bit more about your expertise regarding tracking of the performance?
Yeah, hi Polina, thanks for inviting me on this webinar. I'm happy to share my impressions about Google Analytics for migration. My clients whom I consult on migration and advertising and web tracking, we collected just our impressions to share about and to tell people how is it going with Google Analytics 4, what people need to expect from that, and maybe this is a better time to pay attention to some alternatives. My personal impression from Google Analytics 4 was very bad. I got very used to the custom reports in the version 3, which were the top-notch free web analytics tool, and I think everybody loved previously those standard reports in Google Analytics 3, where they were just no-brainer what to choose. You just go, click, and check out all the data you need. Everything was like seamless, collecting easy and very fast. However, Google Analytics 4 changes a lot of things in the interface, in the approach how the reports are built, in how the events and goals are tracked, and things become more complicated. We can't blame Google for that. Obviously, things become more expensive in the world, and to my mind, what Google is really doing is that they are trying to cut the cost and make the tool not absolutely free. Especially, I would like to pay attention that now data would be stored not more than 14 months, opposite to like option of 50 months in the version number 3, which really makes you think that maybe there are some alternatives to choose, because if you want to track more, you either need to buy a subscription for Google 360 or to pay for some space on the BigQuery storages, which again creates another one problem that you need some dedicated person who would be managing and creating infrastructure for you. So Google Analytics 4 becomes more like an expensive toy, not a free one where you can train your skills and everyone can learn web analytics, but now it becomes more harder to enter into this role, into this market. So, for example, as I'm specializing in the paid ads, I began to research on the alternatives like the affiliate marketers, they don't need to invent the wheel. They already use the advertising trackers for a long time, even though the interface there and the setup might be a little bit cumbersome. However, you have to keep in mind that with the migration to Google Analytics 4, you will have to set up this now, and the data from the previous version won't migrate on the version 4. That means that you would start tracking only from the moment when you will set up the first version. And this is a really big obstacle, which should make you think that, again, there might be some alternatives and you have to set up all the settings from the very beginning. The migration is not smooth. So maybe you can also compare Google Analytics 4 with some other tools by creating simultaneously those tags, setting them up, and start to collect the data to see which tool is more precise.
When we started doing content about Google Analytics in general at RedTrack, we talked a lot about the quality of the data that Google Analytics provides and about third-party cookies, about all of the attribution that Google performs on the data. What about GA4? Is it still modeled data that GA4 is going to present, or is it mostly based on first-party data, something that usually alternatives are trying to provide?
I think that like for all the trackers in the world right now, the first party cookies and first party data became as a golden standard, and Google is not the exclusion from that rule. Definitely the way how Google measures the data, how it represents that in the reports with all those different model comparisons of attribution, conversion paths, it's still an attractive tool. However, I would say that the problem lies not in the dimension of whether Google is using first-party cookie to track the data or not. Google uses a little bit different mechanisms, and we got used to the fact that you just install the tag on your website, and then tag reports to the servers of Google about the stuff. So I think that now Google all the advertising analytics and web analytics and just people who are working with Google should learn more about the other tracking options, like, for example, server-to-server tracking. Of course, Google allows to set you up the server-to-server tracking S2S with the help of Tag Manager. However, I would say that if you go with the advertising trackers, which I previously mentioned, they are all using S2S technologies. So basically, you don't need anything to set up. You just plug and play with that. And this is really cool because with S2S tracking, the data is stored on your servers, not on the web client. It's the exchange of the information is between the servers of Google or any other advertising system, Facebook, Google, TikTok, whatever, and your server or the server of the advertising tracker. So I would say that this technology reports works better, and the accuracy of the tracking with the S2S is bigger because you don't rely on the browser side tracking tag, which might either lose some data or might be blocked with the ad blockers, or especially if you are setting up the tags with the help of the tag managers, definitely you will be losing towards setting up directly to the website or versus S2S. Of course, complexity of S2S makes people a little bit scared. However, again, the cloud solutions of the ad trackers in that case perform out of the box. You don't need anything to set up. And you were also asking about the accuracy of tracking. Again, accuracy is pretty good in the very general cases. On big volumes, you might see the difference, definitely, especially for e-commerce business, for advertising agencies, for the lead generators agencies, who usually work with the big volumes of conversions and events, and there you will see a big difference. Like a small, medium business might not even see this teeny difference. However, I should notice that still Google has a problem with data privacy. And we all know about this pretty loud case from Austria, where Google was banned by their government court due to the fact that the transition of data between the exchange of data between the servers of Google in the EU and US is not totally legal. And this is where Google has to close the breaches and provide a better solution in order to store data in one legal zone, so to say. For example, if you're working in the EU and you have to obey the GDPR rules, the data have to be totally stored in the EU without any exchanges. However, now Google does not provide any explanation or solution to make you sure that you are totally GDPR compliant, and this is a really huge pain.
So GA4 still doesn't solve this problem basically with GDPR or privacy compliance.
Well, as far as I know, not yet. And definitely, if you want your business to be totally legally compliant with local European laws, if you don't want to wake up in the sweat thinking of the penalties you might be put on, you should think of the solutions where you store all the data either on your services or on the services of a solution which is totally compliant.
And what about the data freshness, or how fast does the Google receive the data, and how fast does it get processed for you to see the reports, for you to see the performance of your campaigns, let's say?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, the volume of the events your business generates, for example, e-commerce, which might generate like thousands, 100,000s of millions of purchases, for example, you definitely need to be very accurate with the data you receive, with the budgets you operate. So like just approximately every minute you can spend like thousands of dollars if you don't have real-time, up-to-date, precise data. And again, Google Analytics, neither version 3 nor version 4 are not the solutions which provide you a real-time data. Any free solution is basically an entrance point for a small medium business where you have to understand that the earliest time when you will receive the data to your system is now 4 hours after the event in the Google Analytics 4 case. So this is definitely not for the high capacity occupied systems and businesses which generate high volumes of turnover and work with high volumes of conversions. So I would definitely avoid Google Analytics 4 in that case. But ad trackers actually solve that problem. They show the data in real time, and this is their huge advantage in that case.
That's exactly how RedTrack is working, and that's why we try to enforce these features that we are helping media buyers to scale real time with real time data, and you don't have to wait 2, 3 days for Google or Facebook or any other ad network to process whatever your performance is generated. And how smooth is the integration of your preferred channels, marketing channels, or your website or your CRM with Google? Is it possible with Google Analytics 4 to install everything, to connect all the pieces in one place, and to have the full picture of your performance?
The short answer is yes. If you are a one-army person who is really good with Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics was always like the best sandbox for the beginners. However, I would say that if you again just need a solution out of the box, sort of plug and play, definitely Google Analytics won't provide you such solutions. Even though many platforms, for example, e-commerce platforms like Shopify, they provide their internal one-click solutions integrations with Google Analytics, and you can even set up enhanced e-commerce modules there without any developers, which is really cool. However, I know that reading the reviews of those applications in the stores makes you think that not everything's smooth like that. And again, you have to find some, other conjectures, like, I don't know, Zapier maybe. And this is a problem. If you got too many integrations with CRM, with the e-commerce platform, for example, with different traffic sources, if you use more than two, for example, not just one or two, you need some kind of a better solution, especially if you're limited in the developers' resources, which would help you to integrate everything and make sure that the data flows smooth from one end to the other. And yeah, I think it's worth paying attention for ad trackers like RedTrack, because by the end of the day, we are talking about the I mean that Google Analytics 4 is a really good web analytics tool, which allows you to understand the behavior of the user on the website, to see your sell performance and lots of different cool things, which would make your business more efficient. However, if we talk specifically about running the paid ads, media buying activities, scaling your business with additional investments into the advertising, there are better tools. There are better tools like advertising trackers, which allow you to track everything in one place, see the data in the real time, You don't need to spend multiple hours integrating everything at one place. Just click here and there, and everything is running, and you are collecting the data. And this is really cool. I mean, apart from that, for our advertising efforts, we also right now have to feed the data back to the advertising systems in order to teach the algorithms work better. Because, for example, as you know, after iOS 14, Facebook, TikTok, and other social networks, they don't really perform good. In the majority of cases, the advertisers saw a big drops in the performance, conversion attributions. Everything was screwed up with that. And now different solutions like trackers allow you just to send this data, which was collected precisely on your servers, back to the pixels of the advertising systems or any other traffic source automatically with the highest match rate. Which is really cool, and the performance is getting back. And moreover, as you know, attribution window is a really big pain, headache for advertisers right now. For example, as I mentioned before, Google Analytics 4 wouldn't allow you to see the data which is older than 14 months unless you would pay them to collect and store this data and attribute that. With trackers, you are allowed to store data as long as you want. It could be attributed with any attribution window, which actually opens you multiple of opportunities to unleash, reveal all those conversions which happen behind the standard 30 days period. And I don't know, like, there might be not so many e-commerce stores which where the purchases happen in the time frame of more than 30 days, but there are some, and I would say that for them this is a really crucial solution.
Yeah, but if the data for longer than 30 days is especially very important if you want to build a customer journey and to understand the sequence of conversions or the sequence of events that were leading your customer to continuous purchases, not just one-time purchase, as far as I understand.
Yeah, customer journey and like lifetime value measurements are very crucial especially in the e-commerce industry. And again, Google Analytics 4 was always good as a first solution for the e-commerce business. We also got those LTV reports there. However, you have to keep in mind that Google Analytics 4 doesn't like the personal data. You won't see like the things being attributed to your CRM system users, the contacts you got, and that makes difficult for advertisers to be closer to your customer, to understand the behavior and to be more efficient in your business.
Like if we sum up, what kind of features we can expect to see in tracking solutions versus something we definitely won't see in Google Analytics 4? Is there some kind of roundup of those things that could be crucial for advertisers to use to improve their performance?
Yeah, I would say that still Google Analytics would allow small and medium-sized businesses to have a 360 view on their web assets and how they perform with the advertising efforts. However, you won't see there any things which are connected with the personal data. You won't see how the actions, events, and the revenue is attributed specifically to a specific user, which items did they bought. And in general, I would say, as we are talking about scaling the business here, Google Analytics is not for scaling; it's more about the transparency. The focus of Google, as always, lies in the area of their own products, and they, as usually, build their own infrastructure, part of which in future, as we might know, would be paid. As you know, Google Optimizer, a very well-known and our favorite free A/B testing tool, is being sunset. somewhere in autumn. Google is shrinking its free portfolio for advertisers and web analytics. So I would say if you are thinking of scaling your business, you have to think of other tools, because definitely there would be some better solutions for that. And also, I wanted to mention that we are living the era of AI, which actually means that now you don't have to have an army of developers or people who create scripts to scale your business. And basically, there are already some solutions which allow you to automate your advertising efforts based on the performance KPIs, on how your ads perform. You can do from very simple things there, like switching on off specific ad sets, campaigns, to, I don't know, increase the beats in case your ROI increased significantly on a specific ad. So this is not what Google is doing. You can definitely see that in the Google Ads interface, but not in the Google Analytics. So this is not a one-stop shop solution. While for advertisers, you can find better ones.
I cannot miss this chance to mention that, of course, RedTrack launched our own AI rules in the past quarter of 2022. I think it's ultimately important for any advertiser right now to use rules, to use automation, and to reduce as much as possible the volume of manual work, because we are all here, I think, to create versus to just monitor things 24/7 and look for those best performing combinations or least performing combinations.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And it's not anymore about playing with that and just I don't know, getting some free hours for yourself by automating some routine tasks. The businesses are growing rapidly, and they with the scale you need something to be automated. Otherwise, that would cause additional costs, and those rules just allow you to release this pain.
And what about bot traffic filtering in Google Analytics 4? Is it more advanced than it was in GA3, or is it more or less on the same level?
I never heard about the solutions how to filter bot traffic in Google Analytics 4. Moreover, I would say that you won't be able to distinguish bots from real people, because all the metrics are being averaged, and like you don't see that on the level of specific users. However, for example, there are dedicated solutions and solutions included or integrated in different trackers, which allow you to filter those bot traffics on the back end. And in the reports, you will see a beautiful picture. How many real users did you get? How many of them created purchases? And this is like now absolutely must. Uh, Bots continue flooding the web. So the more complicated niche you have, the more you need this feature.
Yeah, I agree to that, because even we, like at RedTrack, constantly get a lot of bot traffic, which is, I mean, for RedTrack website, which is absolutely not needed in consideration of whether performance is good or bad. And this is something very important to filter out as well. The next question would be, that's something I personally would want to see in Google Analytics, because I do use it as a marketer to see some referrals, to see how many people click from this particular domain on my campaigns and things like that. I don't do anything advanced in Google Analytics, but definitely if Google had something simple to help me track the performance of partner campaigns, for example, a newsletter, or I connect some affiliates that are constantly referring my business and things like that. Maybe promo code tracking, which is also very, very important for many businesses, I think, especially for e-commerce business, because there are constantly some promo codes running here and there. Does Google Analytics 4 support proper partner tracking and proper promo code tracking?
To some extent, yes. You can generate like basic links with the parameters and give them to your affiliates or referrals. And once somebody clicks on that link, you can see that in the reports of Google Analytics 4 or 3 in the reports with all those parameters, and identify like which sources were and how the users from those sources behaved. However, if you need a proper partnership campaign being built from scratch, you will definitely need additional solutions, and Google would be not the one of them. We previously used in the past different solutions. Some of them are dedicated ones, some of them included into the platforms, and you definitely like a specific set of things you need to for the tool being applied in order to track the partnership program. For example, you need to create different types of tracking links with QR codes. Somebody needs MLM programs tracking, like multi-level marketing programs. You also need to know how many conversions came from a specific affiliate or referral. You will need to know how you need to attribute revenue to them, to calculate payouts, and this all creates like lots of different tracking problems with which Google won't just be able to sort out. So what I recommend is to use some dedicated tools for that, some dedicated software, maybe some platforms. And of course, this also can be automated. This also can be created in a better shape, where you create from scratch a special partnership portal. This all creates both good experience on your partners, on your affiliates, and definitely a dedicated tool would make this job better.
We have such a solution at RedTrack, which allows to track your partner performance with both promo codes or tracking links, and also to make it in a nicer way, so you will have a dedicated platform where your affiliates or other partners can see the conditions of the program, the benefits that they're going to get, and other performance metrics. So I would say, all in all, at RedTrack, we try to combine most of the features that advertisers might need to create a platform that has everything in one place, both tracking, analytics, some integrations, every integration that you might need as a marketer, as well as automation, of course, to scale your performance and achieve better results. I would strongly recommend, I guess, RedTrack as a alternative to Google Analytics, especially to the moment when Google Analytics is set to an end. One of the things that we're currently working on at RedTrack is a free plan for e-commerce businesses that will basically work like a Google Analytics, like a free tracking solution, which has all of the needed integrations with Facebook, Google, and TikTok ads. And for you as an advertiser in e-commerce business, being able to track your performance and to act on this performance to scale it, to stop the ad waste, and to scale your ROI. So if you're going to look into any alternatives of the Google Analytics before you switch to GA4, I would recommend to check out RedTrack Unlock. I'm going to leave a link in the description. But I think as well that we might be able to look at other alternatives for e-commerce with Konstantin. What do you think?
Yeah, that was a really good summary of the things we discussed during this webinar. I think that we are entering the era of specialization. So now for like each position in the marketing department, you need a specific kind of a tracking system. For example, for content writers, you need one tracking system which would allow you to track the performance of the content, how the conversion is attributed to that content and engagement with that content. For paid specialists and analytics of the paid efforts, like me, for example, you need the other type of the tracker, which allows you to analyze your paid efforts at one place at real time to have which has, for example, some automation features which would allow you to make your job easier and release some space for the creativity and for analysis and strategy. And of course, such tools would allow you to scale your performance, scale your business, and just do your job better. So definitely we can catch up again and discuss some specific tools for specific positions, industries, and how they can be helpful for the final users.
That sounds super cool. I hope we will be able to cover most of those topics to help more than marketers deal with the sunset of Google Analytics and find their perfect solutions that will be able to help them scale their revenue and the revenue of the businesses they are working with. I think this is all for today. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
this
you.
conversation and sharing all of the knowledge about Google Analytics. I'm sure that it will be super helpful for many marketers out there.
Yeah, I hope that too. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Hope to see you again.
See you. Bye.